to keep us in chains. By show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same 1%? Trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and for the millions watching at home, DCK Productions proudly brings to you the greatest podcast in the world! The greatest podcast in the world? Suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. I appreciate it if you both suck it. Suck it!
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome everybody to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How the fuck is everybody tonight on this October 15th of the horrible year that has been 2020? Welcome everybody to episode 100 of Suck It Podcast. 700,000. I just broke 700,000 a month. Look at that. I'm so excited. Last month, September, excuse me. I broke 700,000. I'm so excited. Now I can change my stats. But now we are on to the next phase of this show. The next 100. And you know what? What a better way, no better way to bring in this newfound awesomeness than with my former co-host, one of my best friends in this entire planet. Without her, I would not be here. Please welcome back to the show, at least for today, Miss Kat Daniels. Hello, my love.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
You know, I'm fantastic now that you're here.
Oh, you're too sweet.
You know, back in May when we started Suck It, you know, when we transitioned over from Shut Up Cameron, that started back in February, you know, I would have never imagined to be here right now. And I can't thank you enough.
Oh, well, thank you.
Even though you left me high and dry on a Sunday, the day before an episode, you know, I
high and dry. At least I didn't leave you like an hour before the episode, or you know, just ghost you or anything.
You know, no, you just gave me 24 hours notice. I guess it's better.
Better than ghosting you and not saying anything.
That's right. But you know what? Today is a celebration of awesomeness. You know, we're gonna have some fun because tonight we have got an amazing guest with us sitting in the green room right now. And let me just tell you, she has one of the most iconic voices in all of animation. I mean, everything from anime to American classics to Disney movies, you name it, she's done it. And currently she is, you know, the voice of Kazman. You know, I mean, that's crazy. It's Kazman. I mean, that's, you know.
Who is my spirit animal, by the way? Because I've always been told that I sound like a South Park character sometimes, like unintentionally.
So Sheila Broflovsky is your spirit animal.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's our perfect guest for you.
I know. I'm so excited. You have no idea.
So then let's just get to it. Let's get the show on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? Because, well, Kazman's a bitch. She's a big fat bitch. She's the biggest bitch in the whole
wide world.
She's a big old bitch. If there ever was a bitch, she's a bitch too. The boys and girls, Mona Marshall.
Wait, who's your friend, Mona?
They were expecting you? Yes, they were. Oh, boy. I'm Bartholomew the Crow. I am her spirit animal.
Oh, yay. Nice to meet you, Bartholomew.
You need to take a nap. Ah. What? What are you talking about? Okay.
Aw.
So how are you?
I'm great.
You know what? I can only imagine. I mean, you know, you've spent the last 20 years of your life on probably one of the most, you know, iconic television shows of all time.
Yeah.
You know, that shows, you know, in the top 5 of longest reigning, you know, television shows of all time, you know, as far as like, you know, episodic weekly, you know, television shows. And, you know, on top of that, you know, countless other cartoons and Disney and stuff like that. I mean, you've just built a hell of a reputation for yourself. And it's so I'm so honored to have you here tonight.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be working. Yay.
Yeah, I know, right?
And doing something I love. So didn't somebody once say that if you do something you love, you never have to work a day in your life?
That's true.
But you do have to work hard at keeping what you have.
They didn't ever mention that part.
So true. So last week, was it last week? I finally got around to watching the pandemic special. And let me just tell you, that was some of the best, you know, those are some of the best episodes since the Game of Thrones episodes.
Well, it was that they had the highest rating that they've had in 7 years. Mm-hmm. And when it was repeated, it was a higher rating than when it originally was broadcast.
So the second broadcast had more ratings. That's awesome.
Yeah. And they worked. Oh my gosh, because everything is remote. Because you know how South Park works, is everything's done in a week. Mm-hmm. So for months they were figuring out, they came to all of the voiceover people's homes and fitted us up with their equipment. So they have all control. But that to me was the easiest part. Not that it was easy, but Trey, you know, had to be able to oversee everything, and the producers had to be able to oversee everything. So it took a little longer, but it was amazing how quickly they did it.
That is amazing.
Wow.
What I've always found fascinating about South Park is the fact that it's really only the 4 of you guys. It's you, Matt, Trey, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember her name. April. Thank you. And then on top of that, you know, you guys bring in, you're bringing a guest voiceover person here and there, but it's like the 4 of you guys do pretty much everything. And that is just amazing to me.
Well, yeah, you know, some days you have very big parts, some weeks, and some weeks you don't. But the main thing is I get to do characters that I love. And I still to this day am absolutely floored by Trey's genius. I mean, that kind of writing is having now been in the process of developing my own adult animation series. Oh, here's a little plug: The Adventures of Puss and Dick: A Survivor's Guide to Relationships. With actually,
oh my God, I want it so bad.
No, seriously, that's what we've been doing.
That's gonna be amazing.
I have 2 partners. One of them is Mark Munley, who's been the script supervisor for South Park for 22 years. Mm-hmm. And we became friends. And then I had this idea, and then he came on board with the suggestion of the second person was Alexander Craven, who's a screenplay writer. And so we've been working for the last year to really pull this together in a different direction. And we're getting ready to hopefully do some pitches. So we're hoping to reach, for one person, Sarah Silverman, because we think she'd really be really terrific.
I love her. Yeah.
Maybe produce and do 1 or 2 of the characters. So, but it's just been a real trip. But anyway, going back to Trey, you know, Trey and also Mark, because being a script supervisor for South Park, it's like, you know, Trey writes and Mark gets it, and he's got to make sure everything goes out to everybody and everything matches up. Mm-hmm. And you know, you just really have to appreciate that kind of creativity.
Yeah, I mean, especially since it's been going on since, was it 96, 95? 96. And, yeah, I mean, I remember watching it, you know, in high school. And, you know, I shouldn't have been.
No, you should not have.
I have been banned from it so long that I've barely seen any of the episodes, honestly.
Well, what greater time than to binge watch than now?
I would love to, except for now I have actually I had my son on my 18th birthday and I don't like expose my kids to things like
Oh,
that.
that's very good.
because
Oh,
that's
you
how
have
I
a
was
son. How
raised.
sweet. How old is he now?
He is 13, he'll be 14 in December.
Oh, yeah, you better watch what he's doing. He's sneaking in there watching South Park.
Oh, trust me. He's not even the one I'm worried about. He actually is like a strict rule follower and doesn't believe in like going beyond the rules, which right now I'm totally okay with. But my daughter, on the other hand, who is 7, now her I'm going to have to watch out for. She will find any loophole that she can, and she's smart about it, and she argues with me and makes valid points, and I can't even argue back. So her I'm going to have to watch for.
I do a reading for kids on Saturdays.
Oh, do you?
Zoom. Yeah, Zoom, 3 to 3:30. She's a good age for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I can make sure I get your email, and I'll send you the Zoom hookup
Yes.
if she's interested. We do.
I'm interested. I'll go.
I usually read a book, and then there's not a whole lot of kids, but there's like 2 or 3 that come. Mark's kids sometimes come, and this one little girl who's the granddaughter of a friend of mine, they moved to Oregon, and her name is Lucy, and they're just clever kids. And so we spend the first part usually doing, I'll read a story, and then we've been making up stories.
Oh,
And it's just amazing. Kids are so creative.
Oh, yeah. She's so artistic and like actually can come up with stuff like that. So yeah, that would be so fun
And
for
what
us.
is her name, Kat?
Her name is Elizabeth.
And you call her Elizabeth, not Lizzie, not Eliza, Elizabeth?
No, I call her Ellie, but when she introduces herself, she's Elizabeth.
Okay. Well, either one works for me.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, let me know your information and I'll send it to you.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
Oh,
That's
or
awesome.
you know what? You can go on my website, monamarshall.net, and it should be posted right there.
And it's there. Oh, perfect. Okay. I'll
And I
go
can-
and you both. I want you to have my
Sorry,
email.
Derek. Did you want to say
No, I was gonna say I can forward it to you
You
as
can
well.
come too.
There we go.
Yeah, I can forward it to you as well. So let me ask you this. Because this is something I've always kind of wondered. During normal production times, with everything that's going on, especially with South Park, being that, they come up with these storylines basically, and then just basically hand them in right as it's ready to go live. Changes can happen within, 2 hours of the broadcast.
You want to talk about the last election and how that ending had to be changed at 12 o'clock at night?
Yes.
We were sent home and had to come back at 8 o'clock the next day because they had to rewrite the ending. That was a very interesting.
I remember that.
Yes. Please talk
I was
about
missing
that.
something on that one.
That must have been insane.
Well, all April and I had to do is worry about getting home and getting back. But
Ah.
the writers and the producers and the animators, on the other hand, oh my God.
How did they feel?
Do you remember that? I mean, I don't want to get
Oh,
political.
yeah.
but
Like,
y'all
that's what I'm
remember?
asking,
I mean,
because
everybody thought one way and then suddenly, oh my
Right?
God.
Like
So-
that, like just to have to deal with the emotions of that on its own was a whole thing that for me would have taken hours. How do you then go and work? I wouldn't have been
No,
able
no,
to
it was-
function.
Most of us were feeling, let's just say, not our happiest. But
Right.
It's a job and you have an obligation to your audience, and God knows it had to be clever. So, I mean, that was mostly on Trey.
Yeah.
In terms of how do you turn it around. So, you just do it.
Which
it's like
brings
anything
me-
else.
which brings
even
me
if you don't feel well, you got a date, and that's happened too, where we
Yeah.
were all kind of sick, and that was one of my biggest episodes because it was when I ruined the internet. I'm sorry, when Kyle's mother ruined the internet. And I had all that yelling and screaming, and I had a miserable sinus infection.
Oh,
And
thing.
you're just scared. You're trying to do everything you can to save your voice, and I know that if I push too hard, I'm going to lose it. And so that was a scary weekend. And I think Trey was sick, and his daughter was on it, and she was sick. So basically, on that Saturday, when we had to do the lines, so the animators had something to work with, we were all sick.
Wow.
So anyway, Derek, did that kind of answer your question, or?
Well, kind of. I mean, have you ever gotten a script and without even, knowing what it was, just kind of go, yeah, I kind of had a feeling this was coming.
Like storyline wise, is that
yeah,
what
with just following the news and stuff
The
like
only
that.
thing I ever knew, because you never know what they're going to pull out of the news.
That's true.
See, the only reason I knew about the pandemic script is they had to discuss it. We would have these meetings on whatever format they use. So we knew something was coming up because we had heard the basic storyline. We never, the voiceover people, never know what's going to happen. I've come in and Mark has handed me my parts of the script, and I never get to see the whole script. And I'm going, remember the Paris Hilton one? Yes. Honestly, I didn't know who Paris Hilton was. So I'm asking Marcus, who feeds me information. Mark, who is this woman? And then he had to explain to me about who she was. And then oddly enough, I ran into somebody who knew her when she was a kid and said, she hasn't changed at all. So, Mark is my go-to guy. That's probably how we became friends. Mark, explain this to me. Or what I used to do before you could find access to the characters is sometimes I'll be doing characters that I haven't done for 5 or 6 years and have no idea what they sound like. Right. And so I depend on Mark. Mark, what does it sound like? Or Lydia. And Bruce, who are the sound people, to find it for me, so I have an idea of what I sounded.
Oh, nice.
It might be one line. So,
yeah,
but it's fun. It's like I refer to doing South Park as doing voiceover without a net. You just got to go in there and you just got to do it. And even though a lot of times I'm listening to Trey do the lines, and he speaks faster than the speed of light. You still have to make it work, especially with Kyle's mom.
Right.
Oh my God, because he does not do it with a Jewish accent. He just does the lines, and they're fabulous. And he's got great sensitivity. When I was doing Bebe's mom, I don't know if you remember the episode about the breasts. Do you guys remember that when Bebe was developing breasts?
Oh, yeah.
It was such a well done, thoughtful episode. And I'm listening to Trey do Bebe's mom's lines. And I'm thinking, wow, he must have grown up with sisters or, something. Nope. So his ability to deliver write the line, deliver the line, because they've got to have something to mark for the animators. Mm-hmm. That's one challenge. Second challenge is listening to him for timing and then making that character my own, based on the characters. That's one of the most challenging things to do. Plus, you have to match a time frame. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that time frame is pretty tight.
Oh, right.
So, but gosh, I love it. You got to think on your feet. But that's kind of much how, you do that with voiceover anyway, but
yeah. So I have a question. So what? So they've been doing this for so long now, and so have you. Do you guys do it because now you have to because it's a paycheck, or do you guys do it because you genuinely like?
I have never in my life, this is hand to God, done anything for a paycheck. Just a paycheck. I mean, no. I love doing what I do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want that to get around too much because they might not pay me. Right? Quite frankly, South Park is helping this come alive because that's cost me, money. I hired a media consultant who you kind of indirectly met, Derek, who's been terrific. And that was all about getting enough of me reaching my fans so that hopefully when we go in to pitch this, we'll have the opportunity and they'll pay a little more attention because you guys know this. You get pigeonholed in this business. Oh, Mona Marshall, she's a voiceover actor, or she's an actor. Oh, Mark, he's a script supervisor. They don't think, oh, they could possibly write.
Right.
So my agent has been helping me, my voiceover agent, and we were actually supposed to have a meeting today, and then that kind of got messed up because, something came up on somebody else's end. But we're now ready to pitch, and we had just started to do that before the pandemic. And the good thing of that is we decided rather than do the pilot script
Mhm.
that we would do episode 4. So that's what we've been working on during the pandemic. And it's a stronger episode in that, it's right in the middle of the series.
Mhm.
Nice.
And it's really funny. And I'm very
Yeah.
excited, as you can tell.
I can, yeah, definitely. One of the things that I've always wondered as well. There's lots of things I've wondered, and I'm going to ask them all.
Please. Don't know if I can answer them, but please ask them.
Of course.
Right.
Was there anything ever that you were kind of, obviously at some point in time it had to have happened, especially knowing, Trey, that made you kind of go, ooh, this is a little, and like a little, too far, or have you ever questioned, the direction that a certain episode went in?
Can you question South Park?
Well, first of all, I don't know the whole episode, so there's that. When she was making love to her husband, but I was already. That to me is a wonderful thing. So no,
Yeah. Clearly, you wrote Puss and Dick. So
yeah, Puss and Dick, they're all genitalia, so they're very cute though. Can you see them? Just in case you can. Oh, wait, that's the angel. I'll go that way.
Oh,
See?
there's an angel. Oh, and they're actually
And
having
androgynous,
look, there's a little dominatrix.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
exclusivity. And our animals all come to life, and this is
That's gonna be fun.
That looks fun.
But after years of doing puppetry, I would know how to use a camera. This guy, sorry, they are not either male or female. They're both. He's Drek. He's the voice of fear.
Oh,
Our androgynous angel is intuitive thought.
ooh.
It's very fun.
That's
Ooh, I like that.
I know that sounds awesome.
Well,
Right?
know
Oh,
anybody
God.
with Netflix? Come on.
When is that out? Is that out now?
No.
Because we have to pitch it. We're looking to pitch this.
So I can't buy the book.
Oh, this is our Bible. This is the
Oh.
Bible. Alex actually took what we did and he created this. So it's really kind of neat. If you go online to Adventures of, so I pick up the thing that has no, these are our 5 ghosts. They're studio ghosts.
Ooh.
But if you go online, I did this as a web comic for a while, just to garner
Okay.
interest. So for the last 3 years, I've been trying to garner interest. But one of the neat things is I really didn't do that much, with fans. I didn't, know.
Yeah.
And it has been so gratifying to realize that you touch people in a way that, well, you guys know this because you're on
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
I don't get that unless I'm dealing with, a podcast, which, I'm not doing it every week. But the idea that people, you move them in some ways. I've gotten some really incredible letters from fans. I do Izzy, the computer wizard for Digimon, the Digimon series. And, he's like very precise and really outstanding at doing computers. Terribly unlike me. Plus I'm male. But there was one little girl who had some learning challenges. And she wrote me this incredible letter about how she could identify with him because she was really good at computers.
Yeah.
And it really boosted her. That is so priceless.
Yes.
And recently I've been doing this where you sign the autographs live on Instagram.
I noticed.
Through Streamily.
Yeah.
And what a kick that is.
Right.
So I started out doing this kind of publicity thing for one reason. And then it's turned into this whole thing about, oh my gosh,
It's
I feel a closeness that I've never felt before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
one of the things that, kind of, indicated to me the cultural phenomena and, just the strength of the fans as far as, South Park goes and, all the different ones going around it was the fact that AT&T paid $500 million to Viacom for streaming rights. That is...
I did not know that.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, right.
For a 5-year deal, AT&T, and to put it on HBO Max for 5 years.
Oh, boy,
Yeah.
this makes a lot of sense because to bring in the equipment that they brought into my home and the other many homes
Yeah.
was not cheap.
Oh, I bet not.
I can imagine.
I was wondering, how are they going to fly everybody to everybody's home like all the time, or drive them even if you don't.
They came in, with masks and so on and so forth, and they set up. I've got this thing. I have no idea what this thing is. I got their computers here. All I have to do is when they text me my lines or when they email me my lines is stand up in front of the fabulous Neumann mic and say them with that headset on. So yeah.
Are you enjoying?
So they did that for everybody who does voiceover, and they had experience with that because Matt is now in New York.
Oh.
So, but all the other guys, all the animators and the producers, some live here, but some of those guys are in different states.
Right.
So I think what's happened is that in Trey's home, they must have some kind of a setup.
Oh yeah.
Because I was told for a while they could not even go into the studio unless you were IT.
Oh wow.
And the IT guys, I mean, to me, it was just genius how they did this. And one of the things that was so touching is when we were doing a general meeting with Trey, and it became really apparent that they knew that the fans needed something during the time of this pandemic, and everybody worked their tushies off to make it happen.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic episode too. You keep, and maybe I completely fell off the behind the curtain of it all, but you keep mentioning Trey. Has Matt kind of stepped back from the creative process?
No. It's just that most of the time, first of all, I'm listening to Trey. Second of all, sometimes Matt's not there. I'm going back to when we were all together in the studio.
Okay.
But no, I mean, as far as I know, you have to understand, I work for these gentlemen. I do not know them intimately.
Yeah.
There have been times, I remember in the early days, I had a friend, a young man who was working with me, and I would take him to voiceover sessions and stuff, and I took him to South Park, and he had a friend of his who was going through a very rough time emotionally, and he was dying to have an autograph from Matt. And, usually at the beginning of the season, I'll say, "Hi, Matt." He'll say, "Hi, well, what do you do? What did you do?" Blah, blah, blah. And I said to him, "Would you mind signing one of these cards?" And I explained to him very briefly. He said, "Sure." So, but you don't want to pester somebody though. "Oh, please
Right.
sign this."
Yeah.
That's just not right. But I just felt it was okay.
Yeah.
And it was very generous. And I know when Mary Kay, I did not originate these roles. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary Kay, who was a friend of mine, said, and I don't want to go into detail because I don't know how much is known, but they were very generous when a situation came up for her with her mom. And, that was, I guess, back, it had to be before 2000 because I didn't start till 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So, people were just very kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
They're
one
loyal.
thing. Yeah. And that's one thing that's one thing I have noticed about those two, that they are, I've heard nothing but nice things about them. Even when, they got blackballed for the stuff that they did with Team America and other stuff like that, they were still like, generous and just, hey, it was satire. Guys, have a little fun with us. And, for a long time, anyone that was a member of SAG couldn't even come on the show, or they had to hide it for a little bit, or whatever the case might be. And now, things obviously have gotten better, but it's, they're from what I understand, they're just, nothing but just sweet, sweet individuals. And I'm sure you're so lucky to be able to work with them.
I am. I feel first of all, I feel very fortunate that this kind of fell in my lap. And, it was very hard to listen to Mary Kay's voice when the call came out after she died that they needed to fulfill these spots, to fill these spots. And we had done a benefit, Voiceover Cares About Life, that summer, so 99. And this is the kind of person she was, very generous of heart. And always, she knew everybody's birthday at South Park and always had a birthday card for them. Which means I remember my husband's birthday, my adopted mom's birthday, and mine. And mine I could forget about. But she said to me, and this helped me a lot during that process, she was saying, Mo, I just got this job as an announcer. You should start doing some of that. Shortly after that, I ended up doing Publix. But what I kept thinking about was when I was listening to her voice, because it was hard. It was like, a great loss.
Oh, yeah.
Lucy Taylor died this last year. who was the voice of Minnie Mouse. You know, I had known Russi since I first started in the business. And, you know, it's that kind of kick in the stomach. But Mary Kay, you know, I was taking over parts she had created. And so that's what kept going through my head is, you know, it was like, hey, Mo, I'm not available to do this, but you'd be okay. You'd be fine.
Aww.
Yeah. You know, for those of you who don't know, there was, you know, a simple, you know, situation surrounding her death, but, and that's one of the things that we heavily promote on this show is suicide prevention and mental health awareness and stuff like that. Being that I do suffer from bipolar disorder and PTSD and severe anxiety. And, I remember when that happened, you know, I was like, damn, you know, just one of those things that just never, you never think about, you know, and, I can only imagine, you know, especially it being a close friend of yours, but, you know, it's just one of those things where you just never know, you know, and I'm so glad, you know, people are finally starting to speak up about it and so finally starting to actually, you know, raise awareness for it. You know, it's taken a long time, but it's finally starting to really be a real, you know, issue in this country finally. And I'm glad it's finally starting to be something.
Yeah. My sister was bipolar. So was my dad. She got those genes. I got the artistic, sensitive genes from the Austrian side of the family. But and Mary Kay was, I don't mean to make more of the friendship. She was a working friend and very, very kind. But in a way, when they did the memorial for her and it came out that she most likely was suffering from manic depression, and I think she was trying to help herself with herbs, you know, to be as natural as she could. You know, that's 20 years ago. We're finding out more and more. And my poor sister, oh my God, she has since passed, but she had a miserable teenage and childhood. You know, I was younger and didn't really know what was going on. But, you know, what can I say? Ignorance is not a great thing.
No.
But I am so grateful that it's coming out in the open and it's not a shame thing anymore. And there's treatment. And, you know, and some of the things that were so weird was, well, she had all this going for her. How could she commit suicide? Well, when you're in the middle of a depression, you can't just put on a happy freaking face.
Right.
No.
You know, and it's not like just feeling blue. Well, you know this.
Yeah. It's something that, you know, I still struggle with. You know, luckily I found the right, you know, meds, and, you know, I've also discovered the power of THC, thank God. That really helps.
What is THC?
Oh, pot, marijuana.
Oh.
Because I mean that has I think I need to start, you know, buying from Integrity Farms. But
that was fun the night they had all that marijuana there. That was so
I'm sure. But no, it's like it helps with anxiety on so many different levels. Yeah. But you know, yeah, it's something that I still struggle with, but luckily I do have this show and I get to come on here every day and laugh and joke and meet new people. And I've got a great support staff underneath me that, you know, like last night when, you know, the situation that occurred, which led to you being on the show, I was just devastated, but I knew the one person I can always call, no matter what happens, I can call her and she handles it. And she did so beautifully. So thank you so much for being here, you know, on such notice, but Eileen I love that lady.
Yeah.
So
I've only met her via the phone, but she sounds like such a hoot.
She is a hoot. I've known her for 6 months now. And she's
Did she tell you how she found me?
No.
I've been doing voiceover work with Scott Page directing me for years.
Oh, wow.
He was in, oh my God, he's in a band. What's a band?
Pink Floyd.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm in his house and I'm looking at these really cool things he has. And then one day he says to me, hey, listen, Pink Floyd is performing downtown. Would you like to come see us play?
Yeah.
He is a great guy.
He is. I had him on. I had him on 2-3 months ago. Amazing
Oh, yeah.
guy. Oh my God. I had such a good conversation with him. But yeah, I mean, guys with Supertramp and Toto and Pink Floyd, and he is amazing, man.
Yeah.
He's an amazing
But
guy.
Who knew? I mean, you knew. I didn't know. So I guess Eileen was looking for people when the pandemic hit, and Scott recommended.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's go ahead and
Go ahead. Do you enjoy working like how you're doing everything now during the pandemic, or do you want to go back like as soon as possible?
I like both. I mean, when I do South Park, normally it's a Tuesday night at 10 o'clock, and I don't mind that because there's no traffic to get to Marina Del Rey from Glendale.
Right.
But what I do miss is I miss getting there early and talking to the animators and, just kind of having a one-on-one. I don't get to see anybody.
Yeah.
I don't even get to see, well, I see Mark because Mark and I work together and we would socialize anyway, but I don't get to see Lydia. I don't get to see Bruce. I don't get to see Trey. I don't get to see anybody.
Yeah.
So I miss that. I'm doing a session on Monday for a Netflix thing, and I like going to the studio. Yeah, I guess I would, what I don't like is when I have to schlep to Santa Monica or schlep to Culver City. You see, I live between DreamWorks and Disney, and I can walk to both of them. So I really like working there.
Oh, I bet. Nice.
The traffic, I'm not crazy about. But
I don't
like to you like to be with the director. My director, when we did the pickup lines for Amphibia, she was on a Zoom call. So, and they were very careful. You don't touch anything. They open the door for you. You plug in your own headphones, so I see the engineer through the glass, and I can hear him and the director through my headset, but that's it. And you can't really socialize because, the idea is to get in and out as fast as possible.
Right.
In answer to your question, yes, I would rather go back the way it was.
Same.
Yeah.
But
I'm really struggling. I'm a social butterfly and always have been, and very extroverted, and I thrive at like networking events, and I just want to talk to people and hear their stories, which is why I do what I do.
Yeah. So. Oh, I have an interesting story. I don't know who this man is, but my woman's like my adopted mom, Joe. She lives next door to, I guess, an actor who works a lot. He did one series, and then so he calls her. He's calling all his neighbors from Canada because he arrived in Canada. That's where they're filming, and had to be in quarantine for 14 days. So he's going crazy. Can't go out. So the rooms are really nice, but you cannot socialize with anybody except via Zoom. And it's like he's going crazy, because we all like to, reach out and talk.
Oh, yeah. So, my husband, he travels for his job sometimes. And he came back from a trip because he was exposed and had to quarantine in our bedroom. Yep. And I mean, we were all in the same house and everything, but like he had to sit there with the door closed and just hang out. And he literally would call me on the phone and be like, "What are you doing?" And he's an introvert who doesn't like people.
Oh, well, not so bad for me.
Right. But even him, I was surprised because he actually had to call me and was like, "I just miss your voice. I just miss you."
Aww.
Yeah.
That is hard. I mean, if you think about it, I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't see Sal.
Right. Same. Yeah.
He's having back surgery a week from Monday, but what they've been doing is they go in and they give you the COVID test, and then you can't go out. He can be around me, but he can't go out at all.
Right.
So,
that's what happens with him too. Yeah. They give you the COVID test and you have to wait for results, and it takes a couple days, and you can't leave. Yep.
So you got your first major role in 1972.
1972?
That's what IMDb said.
What was it? Because I don't remember.
Hold on.
Was it a radio show?
It was. Hold on.
They're always.
He could mean minor.
Well,
what does it say?
I'm putting it back up now. I remember reading it last night.
1972. What was that role again?
It was 1972 on Mazinger Z.
Transor Z. That was 72?
That's what. Yeah.
Who does your IMDb?
I don't think that's the right date.
Yeah, it says. It says
was my first. No, that's not right. I'll tell you why I know that's not right. The date's not right.
Okay.
I did the voice of Alexander and Fanny and Alexander in 1982.
Oh,
I was with the
the
LA
typo.
Moving Van and Puppet Company, and I started in 1977. And I was studying with Daws Butler at that time. And I probably started studying with Daws in 74, 75. And my first, let me think about this. My first after job was I did a radio show, Sherlock Holmes, and the Speckled Band, and Daws directed that. So I got into AFTRA, and back then you could go from AFTRA to SAG, and that Transor Z was a SAG show. So it had to be later than 72. So I'm figuring this out. It had to be later than 72. And my very first ADR was Harlock. So I didn't even know what ADR dubbing was.
Me neither.
And that was Harlock. And that had to be, it was with Wally Burr and a bunch of really heavy hitters now. So that had to be mid 70s, not 72. So I think that might be wrong.
See, folks, even IMDb is wrong occasionally.
Right.
Well, I guess, even, regardless of the date, what made you say, I want to do voice? I mean, what was what was the?
I didn't. I had to be dragged kicking and screaming practically. This is a story I love to tell on myself, and it's about arrogance and why it's never good to be arrogant and close-minded. I
Yes,
came here with my first husband to be a serious actress. And I was teaching at Hollywood Professional School in the 70s. And one of my kids, this was 5th grade, one of my kids had just completed an album of The Little Prince with Richard Burton. And he was 10 years old, and he was in Dawes's workshop. And the mother kept saying to me, oh, you got to go to this workshop. And I was singing around town because I had a one-woman show, and, I would sing a lot of standards and stuff. She just kept at me and kept, you got to take this class. You're just going to be great. You'd be wonderful. So finally, to shut her up, I didn't even know what voiceover was, really. I walked into Dawes's class, and it was like my whole world lit up. And then I became friends with Brian Cummings and started doing improv and realized that I could do believable boys, and sometimes I could do believable girls. So I started with Margaret Elizabeth, and then I went into Mikey, her older brother, and made up an entire story about all of them. But one of the great things that Daws did is he would write us little plays. And we go around in groups, and we would do it, and then another set of people would do it, because he believed 2 things. 1, if you couldn't act in a 30-second commercial, maybe you couldn't act. And 2, you had to pull those words up and bring them to life. And he wrote me a monologue. Her name was Majesty, and she was head of a PR firm. I'm sorry, an advertising agency. And I used that monologue and got into the TAPLA program in Los Angeles. We toured for 10 years. I auditioned as an actor. I had never worked a hand puppet in my life. But the director of one of those companies was looking for actors he could teach hand puppetry. Get over there. Yeah. Hand puppetry. And we would sit in front of a mirror for hours. So I auditioned with that and with a song I had written and got in. And what's great about that is the relationship of this to dubbing and what goes on in your mind.
Right.
Out your mouth or your hand is the same.
Yeah.
It's the first time I got up to dub, the people I was with had done it a lot. And I remember David Hall saying to me, how long have you been doing this? Because I was nailing every line. Oh. And I would love to say, oh, it's because I'm so bright, but it wasn't. It was from doing this for 10 years. And and that was a great touring experience, because I got to work with kids.
Right.
And we would do bilingual multicultural shows. We were paid by the city of Los Angeles. There were 5 companies. And outside of, ruining my knees, working the puppets, I had a very clever director, Paul Hansen, who took the best of what he had and utilized it. Wow. And, but, once I realized I could be anything doing voices, it was like, this is where I want to live.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. I mean,
you tell such good stories.
You really do.
I'm so fascinated.
You were you were even in, in one of my favorite, obviously my favorite, character of all
Betty
time is
Brant.
Spider-Man. You are Betty Brant, the Spider-Man's first girlfriend that everyone forgets about. See, I remember. But you're Betty Brant in the 1981 Spider-Man series, and that's, that right there. If you only did that your entire life, you would be my goddess.
Well, that was an interesting experience because the first thing that director, first of all, I was working with heavyweights. I was a new kid on the block, and I remember thinking, oh, I hope my agent would call me at the end of a session and tell me I've got work the next day. That was for Wally Burr, who was one of the reasons, God rest his soul, that we went from SAG saying they could have us for 8 hours for a session to 4. He was wonderful, but he really over-directed. But anyway, Wally said it, we all sat around saying, just remember 2 things. We're treating this as children's radio theater. And the second thing is any one of you can be replaced, which I had also heard from my drama teacher. So it was not big news,
Right.
but that was, oh God, that was just such heaven because I was working with so many wonderfully talented people.
No.
Yeah.
I really lucked out.
Yeah. I mean, you're, most people would kill for a third of what you have. And, to have the credits that you have is, you've got, now, 30 some years in the business, 40 some years in the business, excuse me, I'm sorry, I just dated you.
Derek, please let's hope it gets this sold. Come on.
Right.
Exactly.
I had 40 years experience doing
But,
voices. Come on, trust me, I can write a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, to now, to be having all the credits that you have underneath you, and now, pushing your own cartoon series, you've got to be on cloud 9.
When somebody says green light, yes. No, but honest to God, I will tell you every day I'm grateful, and I am not joking. I do pray and meditate, and one of the things I say is, thank you for giving me the life I have.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine as a stage and on-camera actor, I never fit in anywhere. I just never quite got in any groove. And now I realize, you look back, as you get older, one of the things is that you can look back and you can see how fate, or whatever you want to call it, has a hand. When I was with my first husband, and, we got married, I was 19, he was 23, and we met in college. And it was because of him wanting to come out here to be a writer that I went here instead of New York. And if I hadn't come here, I would not have found Daws, nor would I have been teaching at Hollywood Professional School, nor would I have been in the LA Moving Van and Puppet Company. And I would have not met my second husband.
No.
I met my second husband because I was a good wife to my first. I was loyal and supportive. And even though that marriage did not last, we both learned a lot from it.
Right.
But it's very odd. And you can only see that in hindsight.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of the things, like the show, the Puss and Dick, was originally 2 characters, and they would be playing different roles. And I showed that. I did a little presentation. This was about 18 months ago. And Alex, who I had met at a little coffee place that we go to around here called Base Camp High Horse Dinette, which is fabulous. Think of Cheers, but with really good food and not as much alcohol. And actually nicer people. He used to hang out there and we'd talk, and he's a wonderful screenplay writer. I've read his scripts. He's terrific. And I asked Mark when we did an animatic for that if he would help punch up the script and direct. And he did. And when Alex saw it, he said, you need a writing partner. And, especially somebody who's younger than I am, who has a different perspective and who's male. And Mark and I just really fit in together. And he said, you've got to do something to get across the idea that they are many different things. And boom, Mark and I sat down together and came up with the idea of Humanity Harbor and all these characters that I showed you on the cover. Awesome. Because about inclusivity, especially of our sexual habits. And the reason they're penises and vaginas, besides the fact that they're cute, is because if you strip away all the outside stuff, we have masculine and feminine energy. We have a mixture in each individual. Usually the female will lead with the feminine instead of the masculine, not always. And we can do that with these. And it is about inclusivity. It's also about the fact that, you know, do you want the material first or do you want the friendship and the love first? Because we got a mayor that's really dying to sell off that city. So, boom, it changed. Mark and I spent all of, not this last summer, but the summer before writing it. Alex came in and oversaw it. So if it had gone as it was, it wouldn't have been as strong as it is now. So once again, I have to figure that it's timing. And that really helps me a lot.
Where did you come up with this whole concept to begin with?
It's an interesting thing because it also involves Mary Kay. I had created a gift in the early 90s. I kept seeing people, you know, because back then I was a lot younger and people were really focused on their careers. They would get married, they'd have their kids and the career, and little by little people began to move apart. So I created this gift called How to Prepare Your Love. It was 10 playful seduction 10 playful seduction scenes written in recipe style. And I do pen and ink work so that each one had a heart. And as they got a little bit more sexual, the decoration around the heart became bigger. So it came with that recipe book. It came with a song that I wrote called Let My Lips Do the Walking. It had a great horn in it. And it came with a little pillow embroidered with your love, and it had a pocket in it so that you could write love notes. And the idea would be that, you know, just to take 5 minutes even, you could either read and enjoy and get a laugh out of the scenarios, or you could actually act them out. Well, I raised $22,000 to get that off the ground. I explained to people it was high risk, but I really thought it would go. I thought this is a great gift. Couldn't get it off the ground, but the idea of communication between feminine and masculine energies and how to put aside our differences and get into each other's shoes, so to speak, because we use a lot of that kind of device in this, that became very important to me. And back in the days when we were using paper scripts, I do a lot of erotica. A lot of my pen and ink erotica is phallic symbolism with feminine aspects, because I believe that we make each other stronger. Just like when you allow the masculine and feminine within each of us to be more balanced, you're able to have a little more joy in your life because you're not so one way. So the idea of that was always there. And then I would noodle, you know, I would sit and do these little characters. And then, you know, I thought, well, why couldn't you do this? And, you know, part of that was South Park, because South Park, you know, went through a lot of boundaries. And, you know, I thought, I really think this is important because as funny as it is, it's still the idea that we all have a commonality that we forget about. And especially when you look at the climate today, if we do not find a way, that's my hair. If we do not find a way to communicate, we're not going to last. And I'm not just talking about this country. I'm talking about people in general.
Right.
So, and once again, that common ground, whether your insides match your outsides or not, because, you know, this includes all sexuality. And, you know, we operate on that. And I, part of that too is that I've only known 2 guys in my life. I've loved them both. And I've always felt very comfortable sexually. And that's coming from somebody who's always had a weight problem. So because I always felt loved, the sex was always good. And I also knew, even with the first marriage, when things didn't work, there was still some support there. And by the way, my first husband, I'm pretty sure, was bipolar, untreated, you know, and you know, if that's untreated, it can really be difficult.
That's my wife.
But this guy, Sal Ionati, he's one of those kind of very balanced people, which drives me crazy because he's much more a linear thinker. But, you know, I've been real fortunate. When you are happy in intimacy, I think it helps you a lot navigate through the world, you know, and make no mistake. And that's another reason why, you know, Puss and Dick is so important to me. It takes work. You guys know. You might love what you do. It still takes work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's work that you do with joy, and even the idea of, our sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
really listening to each other's needs.
Mm-hmm.
It can make all the difference in the world in relationships.
Yeah.
And not just, and this is not just about couples either. It's about friends. It's about people who work together. This whole thing takes place around a small television studio that has gone to seed because of 5 people have died just as they were ready to, go from theater to television. And the gentleman who directed it dies and leaves the studio to a niece who never knew him because he was gay and the family kicked him out. And he ended up in this town falling in love with the richest man there who had no idea what to do with his money and was sad and lonely because he always wanted to act. So they get together, they have created this studio, everything is going great. And the night of their first performance, the rich guy gets food poisoning. So he's not at the tech rehearsal, and they all end up dying of carbon monoxide poisoning, 5 key people. And so the town has kind of been in depression. And so along come these 2 film students, Maya and Marcus, and, their relationship is, 5 years old, but, it's evolving, And so it's all tied in together. And there's a mayor, like I said, who wants to sell off the city to developers. Just like real life, only
Right.
they're genitalia.
Well, damn, that is a deep storyline.
There's so many things going on there.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
I have a
amazing.
super important question though. So you have written erotica, and obviously this is part of it. As a woman personally, I have struggled with accepting my sexuality for very long periods of time. How have you come to just be comfortable? Because you clearly are comfortable.
I am, honestly, it's because I only slept with men I loved.
Yeah,
And
really?
loved.
That's why?
Well, I can't think of. Listen, I know I might sound like a dinosaur, but even when even when it was not surrounded by marriage, with Dennis, let me go back to my mother. My mother died when I was 14. At 11, I came home. No, at 10, I came home and somebody had written FUCK on the wall. And back in Missouri in the Midwest in those days, I had no idea what that word meant. And my mother took me downstairs and explained to me the facts of life. And when she did, I thought, ew, why would anybody want to do that?
Yeah.
And she, God bless her, said, when 2 people love one another, it's a beautiful thing to do.
Mm.
So for me, and I am not saying all women, because I have plenty of friends that have slept around and it's worked for them.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me. And I'm sure part of that was my body imagery. So feeling safe when you're making love and having a man tell you he likes, listen, I've been thinner and heavier in my marriages. That's never mattered. It's mattered to me.
Right.
But when we're lying down and we're loving each other and my husband says, I love your breasts or I love touching you. I mean, my God, doesn't get better than that.
No.
And what I would say to young women, because I do, I don't want to say counsel, but sometimes women will come and talk to you if you've had experience in some
right.
And I say, this is our body.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Our sexuality, orgasm, that's all wonderful.
Right.
I believe that it's a blessing from, whatever you believe in. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have that much joy.
Right.
But just like anything else, you have to treat it with respect.
Mm.
If somebody's going to enter my body, once again, masculine, feminine, yin yang, the yin is out there. Well, that's a masculine energy. Hi, and think of what a penis is. It is outside the body.
Yeah.
I'm letting somebody into my body and my spirit. And I don't know the technical terms, but when women have sex, there is an element that is released. That's why women, when we tend to become intimate in that manner, our expectations are different. And I know a lot of women don't necessarily, whatever.
No, there's a hormone in your brain that's released when women have sex that make us automatically think that we're in love, even if we don't want to.
No, of course not. Because love is a lot more than just, wow, it feels great.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's like,
that's what we associate.
I mean, seriously, it's the most intimate thing you can do.
Yeah.
It's a kind of not a bad idea to get to know the person who's sticking his cock inside.
100. Exactly.
Aren't you glad you invited me on the show?
You know have what? No idea how glad I am.
Let me,
anyway, you know,
I truly am glad to have you here. 100%.
Well, and my show, my podcast is The Teachable Soul, where I discuss like in-depth spiritual and like soulful things, and your whole masculine and feminine energy thing. I am vibing with hardcore. Like, you have no idea.
And that's actually the funny part about us, is that we are definitely a yin and yang, because you know, on a normal day, you know, this show, you know, is graphic. It's, you know, it's vulgar. It's everything that, you know, that her show isn't. Yeah. So back in May, when her and I first met, and she wanted to be a co-host on my show, I was like, your show is why you're it's like not even soft. It's like being a, you know, a Catholic priest one week and then going to be a satanic priest the next week. That's how it felt. But
you know something, and see, I think that's where we get a little confused. We think that sexuality, I'm not talking about vulgarness. I mean,
yeah, correct. Yeah.
I'm talking about sexuality and fun and spiritual depth. I mean, tantric sex is a great thing.
Yeah.
And to me, well, I'll tell you the story.
Please.
Let me see if you can see it. You see the picture behind me? It says "Life is a Celebration," and it's a wire dancer that I created.
I was going to ask you about that.
When I was first in drama school, I had a great teacher. This was at LACC, named Robert C. Board. And every week we would have to take the different placements. This is what I teach. When I teach voice placement and how to use your instrument. And we would have to believably use those placements doing a classical monologue, either Shakespeare or the Greeks. And one day Bob said, the other thing was, before we could open our mouths, we would have to show by the way we moved historically what was going on. So we had to have an idea of the costuming. He was brilliant teacher. But one day he put this out to all of us. We were all sitting there, you know, these are like kids 18 to 21 years old. He said, okay, there are these three things have one thing in common: the act of love making, the act of when you do the body and blood. That is what? Body and blood of.
The body and blood of Christ. It's like
it is
not a sacrifice. It's a
communion.
Communion. Thank you.
Remember that word. Communion, love making, and performing on a stage. What do they all have in common? And we're sitting there going, huh? Most of us got lost when he started talking about the sex part.
Right.
And he said, they are the celebration of the human spirit.
Mm.
And I remember that was an epiphany for me.
Yeah.
Because I realized that is absolutely true. It is communion with an audience. You know, Derek, you talked about that in a review. Not a review. Somebody, I read one of the things
press release.
What?
The press release?
No, it wasn't a press release. He was being interviewed.
Yeah.
So obvious that you have taken everything that's gone on with you and are reaching out to people. And I would imagine in your podcast too, Kat, you're doing the same thing. That is what I've always wanted to do as a performer and as an artist. Because the other thing is, I remember somebody saying to me, everything you have in art is God's. Now, whatever your concept of a God is, mine tends to lean towards pantheism. I believe there's spirit in all things. But I also believe that I was given this talent to be of service out in the world. And I feel very strongly about Puss and Dick doing that. And something you said, Derek, makes so much sense. You said this about your show and about Kat's show. But see, those are the elements we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. If this isn't funny, what's the freaking point? Yeah. But it also has depth. So, but that's true of us in our relationships. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about when we have sex, it's hysterical. Right. Seriously. you know, the positions and this and that and trying and all. It's wonderful and it's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And also when it works really on multi-levels, you know, mentally, physically, and spiritually, my God, there's nothing greater than that.
Right.
You know?
You are
Even if you're doing it to yourself. Oh,
phenomenal.
You are. Oh my God.
You're so right. I always wondered why I like super identified with like movies and storytelling, and I was always captivated, and even music to some degree. Like those things make me like those things really hold my attention, and I feel passionately about them. And I always thought maybe it was just like the music, or like it's an aromatherapy thing, like my brain within my brain, you know. But yeah, you're exactly right. I think that what the teacher, what did you say his name was? Bob
Seaboard. He died a long time ago, but oh my God. See, once again, looking back, you can see Daws planted things. Robert Board planted things. My mother, you know, you begin to see how things come together in ways. It's like a mystery, but not.
Right.
That's the great part about hindsight.
So at the beginning of 2020, because I started my podcast, also my other podcast, and my idea originated in like November, December of 2019. So when I started it in 2020, I had hindsight is 2020 in my head, like, and so I use that image a lot on my website and stuff. And I think that we'll look back on 2020 someday and be like, oh,
yeah.
Believe me,
like in so many ways.
Yeah. I think in some ways, believe it or not, I think people become more sensitive for our need to communicate, to have communion, and to also have more tolerance. My God, you know, I think of people who
please more tolerance
alone.
Yeah,
you know, that's rough. I have a friend who's a psychologist who actually helped us with Adventures of Puss and Dick, and she was talking today about the people she's still seeing. There's such a vast difference between those that, you know, are in a relationship of some kind or living with a mother or a father, as opposed to those that are by themselves. We know what you guys are doing desperately.
Yeah. I'm terrified. I would be terrified to look in depth into how senior citizens in like their homes are doing, or in like what do you call those places? Nursing homes.
Nursing homes.
I know SAG is reaching out, is having people reach out to.
Good.
Yeah,
so
to people who are living by themselves.
Yeah,
so, and in our neighborhood, like I go dog walking with two other women, and we kind of look at, one of them is by herself, the other one has got one too many people there, but you know, you're a little more cognizant, and try and reach out a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah. When we moved into this neighborhood, I had not said anything to my neighbors because depending on where, like, we're a military family, so depending on where you are, people are kind of funny about being introduced or not introducing, and, you know, not making eye contact. And in my experience over here on the East Coast, they tend to not want to interact. And so I had not introduced myself yet, but when the pandemic hit, I had noticed that there was a gentleman next door to me who was a senior of some sort. He was elderly, or not elderly, but he was retired and didn't have a job to go to every day. And I noticed that he lived alone. And so I put it like a sticky note on his door. And I was like, if you ever need anything, here's my phone number. I don't want you to, you know, feel like, if you just want to reach out or something, you know, you can text me or call me, we can chat and stuff like that. And he texted me immediately and was like, that was the sweetest thing I have ever had happen in my whole life. And I've lived here for 20 years. And I was like, well, I'm glad you appreciate it and don't hate me, because some people would.
But see, that's the spirit of giving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you reached out without expectation, and listen, it doesn't matter what the response is. It's the actual act. You know, the whole idea of the journey is the destination.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially during these troubling times, you know, the things that we could do for each other mean the world, you know, in the littlest bit. Doesn't matter how big or how small it is. You know, you're touching somebody's life if you can.
Yeah. And that's, my sister actually taught me that, because I always I mean, the world, whenever you try to give, tries to be like, oh, that person over there that you're giving to is just using you or trying to do something that's not positive with whatever you're trying to give them. And my sister was actually the one who was like, that's not your business.
Right.
Honestly, like your
Right.
business is to be who you want to be. And if you want to be a person who is giving, then that's your business. And that's what you should go do. Whatever that person does with or after you give what you have to give, then that's none of your business. And I was
exactly early on, I was always so afraid of stepping over that line. I didn't want to push myself. And I was very frightened of making a compliment to a producer or a director because, oh, well, they think I'm sucking up to them. And then one day it dawned on me, screw that. If I think somebody's wearing something wonderful or their eyes look beautiful, or screw that. I'm just going to say it. I'm not asking for anything. And if they think I am, that's their business, not mine.
Exactly.
Life is way too short.
Low, absolutely.
Yeah. So back to your career for a second, because there's something I am wondering. Again, something I'm wondering again. So, you had a bunch of credits to your name. And then it looks like and again, I could be wrong. IMDb apparently is wrong. In 2009, you had the opportunity to go work for Disney on Princess and the Frog.
I did work for Disney on Princess and the Frog.
Huh?
I did work.
No, that's what I'm saying. So yeah. So that was like, if this is where I could be wrong, that looked like it was your first Disney movie. Was there any ish? No. Okay, maybe I'm okay. Again, IMDb is wrong, but either way.
Wrong.
What was your first Disney movie?
I don't know. When was Monsters Inc?
2000.
I'm gonna Google it.
2001ish.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was in both, but the second one, they actually used my character in the trailers.
It was 2001 that it came out.
Yeah. So I worked on that. That was Pixar and Disney.
Yeah.
We worked at Disney, and I'm trying to think.
You weren't the alien lady
On which?
on Monsters Inc.
I was
so many alien ladies.
No, I think I was just background stuff. But on the second one, Monsters University.
Oh, and this is the scouting school. Oh, come on, it's so exciting.
That's who I was. And one of my fans actually knows the name of that character. I do not.
Right.
You were in 2 trailers, so yay.
Right.
But I guess the question I was going to ask, regardless of the time, regardless of the time frame, was being that you were associated with such an iconic TV show in South Park and the edginess and all the stuff that it kind of went through. Did Disney ever say, or at least not that you were aware of? No, they didn't kind of go, ooh.
Maybe I'm not aware of, but first of all, I wasn't a big enough player to have that kind of an impact. That's one thing. Second thing is, around about 2000, Disney got real starstruck. So if you notice, and this is one of the complaints that, what we call journeyman actors, which is what I am, one of the hard things is that, producers want to work with stars. And so if you're working with the star, it's not going to matter to you that star is also doing something that's, where there's a nude scene or so no, I don't think that's been a problem.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked that question isn't because, I wanted to know, but as far as other aspiring actors and actresses and voiceover people and stuff like that, who are like, oh, I want to go work over here. So I don't want to do this just in case they look down upon that. And I guess that proves the point that as long as you're making an impact, it doesn't really matter.
Mary Kay was the voice of Snow White when she died.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know that. Yes.
So, I don't know. I mean, it's voiceover. Who in the world, except if you happen to really be into voiceover, knows what I look like?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that I don't know. And also you got to remember those are films wherein I am doing little snippets. I am not like the lead in that film. And if I were, I would be a big enough name where, they're more interested in the name and what kind of money I can pull in and what kind of, fan power I have than they are in, oh my God, she's doing South Park.
Yeah.
Like a lot of famous people have done South Park now.
Yeah.
Disney films.
That's true. Heck, back in the early days, they were able to get, now his name escapes me.
Not Tom Cruise.
Not Tom Cruise.
Sorry.
Tom,
No.
Tom, come out of the closet. No, George Clooney. They got George Clooney to play a dog. And Jennifer Aniston to play a cat.
He wasn't. What? I'm sorry. Sorry. What?
I said, and Jennifer Aniston to play a cat.
Yeah, there you go. See,
that's just funny, but
we all have to get into the dirt a little bit.
yeah,
Right.
the Tom Cruise episode. Oh my God, that is the single best episode of South Park ever.
He got in a lot of trouble for that.
Yes.
And, I was in the game at that time, or I guess right before that. I was doing the Mission Impossible game, and I was I was a little afraid that Universal would have something to say, but they didn't.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that episode so epic, and it was banned for a while, and then it came back, and it was just one of those so well written. And
see, fans have power. Fans have power.
Yeah,
They do. For sure.
yeah. I mean, that was the only. It was the second episode that that I can remember that actually had the threats of being banned, and then the other one was the Muhammad episode. Yeah, that was another one.
If you feel sensitive about what South Park is doing, you don't like being skewered by South Park, then chances are you're not really living up to what you're supposed to be living up to. Otherwise,
That's true.
you.
That's true. That's 100% true.
Hypocrisy. That's what they're skewering.
Yeah.
You're not a hypocrite, then you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this answer as well. But
Probably
one other thing, probably not, but I'm asking anyway. Most people know that, Seth MacFarlane has a nice little friendly rivalry with Matt Groening and loves to, make fun of him and makes fun of Simpsons on Family Guy and stuff like that. And, they've made pot shots at Family Guy and Simpsons before on South Park. And I know that,
Can you see him? There's Bart. Look, there's Bart.
Yeah. Yep.
I did Bart.
Yeah. So is there a friendly rivalry between Matt and Trey and Seth MacFarlane?
I honestly have no idea.
No. Okay. I was just curious.
No, that would be like, hey, Matt or Trey, by the way, how's it going?
Yeah.
If I knew that much, I'd go and say to Seth MacFarlane, I got this great animated series. Would you be interested in producing it? Come on.
Right.
Oh my God. You know what? Seth seems like the type of person he would be all over.
Oh,
with.
absolutely.
If you got any no's, KNOW, bring
Putting
them
it
on
out into the universe.
It's out in the universe.
Yes.
Yes. If I had any no's,
You
I'd be doing voiceover work and other things too.
Yeah.
I don't.
You got a good start here.
Yeah, I know.
I crazy characters. I heard the beginning of this.
I
good characters going there, man.
I've been trying for years and I have not been able to.
Do you have a reel? Do you have a demo tape?
I do not. I put one together and I just never got any,
Did you send it?
I did a couple times, but I never got any responses ever. So when I got my new computer, it got lost and I just never put another one back together. But that's something that I've always, especially being a stand-up comedian, that's definitely something I've always wanted.
Oh my God, that's what I've been telling. I have a student who's now a repeat student. Young gal's always wanted to do voiceover, is really good, takes directions. Because one of the things I'll do is I'll show a voice placement and then I'll have the person work on that, right there. And I improv something. And she was really good. So she had wanted to do this, married, had 2 kids, and became a personal chef. And now really is serious about this. And one of the things I'm telling people who want to get started is go to an open mic with some of your characters and create around them. And Derek, you are a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Start working on those characters, babe, and start, because I'm assuming that because I know out here they have Flappers, has that kind of stuff. So start doing that.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got the podcast going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that hinders him or I don't know if it's hindering him or if it's like people in California are hesitant to work with other remote people, for multiple obvious reasons. But yeah, I think it's basically a hindrance if you don't live in LA, essentially.
It can be, but what we're finding out with Zoom is, say you were doing your stand-up and you're getting more and more, fans and recognition and requests. Actually, I think that's how Howie Mandel did one of the Muppet Babies.
Mm-hmm.
Or also, has that kind of sound.
Yeah.
And somebody saw him doing that in a stand-up act. So we never know. And the thing we were finding out about Zoom is you could indeed, one of two things. If you were a guest, you could do it remotely, and especially if you had a good studio setup. Or if you're in a series, you fly out here and you do a B&B. Not a B&B,
Airbnb, yeah.
Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Or they put you up. The studio has stuff, especially, God, Burbank, the home of everything.
Right.
So, man, I would do that. I don't know what kind of stand-up you do, but I would start developing some characters, and you were doing great back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you should do it, Derek. Please,
I've
put your
got.
heart into it and just do it, my dear.
I mean, I think probably if I actually did them all, I probably think I have a good 15 to 20 characters that
you should do your real.
What I would do is start with a couple where you're, maybe switching back and forth, then add a third and figure out what your, what's the situation, what's your frame of reference here, and then build them up. Do you know what I'm saying? We get known for 2 or 3 that are very disparate, where your rhythm is different and your placement is different.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. That is my suggestion. And then, when you get, 7 or 8 where you're really comfortable and they're very distinct and they're not picking up each other's rhythm, put together a demo tape. But now you got 2 things going, because you got the demo tape, you got 3 things. You got the show, and you've got the stand-up where you're actually doing the characters.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a Rod Serling very droll about politics. Let's talk about politics.
Yeah.
What do you think? Truth or dare? You don't know who Rod Serling was? Please tell me you do.
Yes, of course.
I know the name. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
He was a brilliant writer who died way before his time, who did Twilight Zone.
Oh,
and written,
okay.
A lot of other TV. He was really brilliant.
Yeah, my brother and sister.
As good as Aaron Sorkin, who's like my hero. I just love Aaron Sorkin.
Oh,
yeah.
My brother and sister and I used to watch Twilight Zone together. So,
well, see, now you know who the creator and the writer,
right?
Rod Serling. Look him up. Died at 50. Did a lot of this.
Yeah.
50s and 60s. That was
Didn't they all back then, right?
Yeah.
My parents did that too.
So did mine. That's why I was an orphan at 21. There you go.
Aww.
It's okay. So the universe gave me one of the most terrific people in the world, who has been, I call her my adopted mother, Josephine.
How'd you find her?
Oh, we met through mutual friends, actually through my first husband. And we just kind of got along. You know how sometimes there's an older person in your life. And so we've always been friends, but, throughout the years, like when I thought I wanted to have a baby, and my first husband and my second husband did not want one going into the marriage. And she said to me, Mona, the times that you crave wanting to be pregnant, when work is slow. And she really made me look at that and understand. And then the other thing is, after I stopped touring with the LA Moving Band and Puppet Company, I started volunteering as a reader and created a whole children's program at one of the local elementary schools here for about 15 years called Mind Magic. And I wrote a whole read aloud book that I'm hoping to put out in the universe called Angel and the Magic Pen. But the purpose of it was to strengthen their grammar usage while helping them to attach imagery to what they read. So, because my degree is actually in English. And then which has done very well for me.
Do you have recordings on that?
I have Voices for Fun, which is all about voiceover, but we are in the process of taking it from 10 chapters and condensing it so that I could possibly do it like in a 2-hour session.
Okay, yeah, because my daughter hates to read, but loves math. And also loves artistic and storytelling and things like that. So that would be phenomenal.
If you want to, because it would be my pleasure. Because I've already read Angel and the Magic Pen to the kids that I'm reading to on. It's called The Mind Magic Show with Ms. Mo, and Bartholomew comes on there too, and occasionally Frida Finkelstein, the Palingo that's in the background, part Pelican, part Flamingo. Oh my dear, how are you talking about me again? Yes, I am. Give me your info, and if you want, I'll read her the story.
Oh, really?
In increments. Well, it's good for me, and I love the story. The story is about a little girl who finds a 10-color pen, and she goes home and she starts drawing, and she draws a little creature, and she's just kind of looking at it and starts talking to her.
Yeah.
And then eventually she draws herself into the story, and so there's a whole story, but the story really has a lot to do with why it's not a good idea to steal things from other people and try and make it your own.
Oh.
And what happens when you realize that you have more. It's basically the same thing. Oh, better communication. You don't have to take away somebody else's things to communicate and have your own.
Right. There seems to be a theme here.
So seriously, because I love doing that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So if she wants to do like a half hour a week, let me know.
I've already emailed you her email address, Mona.
Oh, you did? Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
So it's in your inbox right now.
Good. And we'll set up a time, because I now have Zoom. I just became incorporated as Mind Magic Enterprises, Inc. So I bought Zoom.
Oh, nice.
I can have a long Zoom, but I think a half hour is plenty.
Would you want to do it for her class?
Sure. Absolutely. It would have to be in increments. But
absolutely. No, yeah, but I could put you in touch with her teacher, and you guys can set that up.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's make a. Do you have an iPhone? Can we do like we'll do FaceTime.
Okay, perfect.
So send me your info and we'll set up a time.
Okay, send her my number too, please.
I will.
Okay, thanks.
Eric, you're very kind.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you.
I tell you, I love it, man. You can tell where I grew up in. Yeah, the 60s. That was good.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I am.
Well, because that's how people in the 60s talked.
Back in my day. I remember when I had to walk through 10 miles of snow that was over my shoulder.
Have you guys seen that meme on Facebook that is talking about how coronavirus is our kids' like time for their 10-foot walk up in snow both hills or uphill both ways?
I'm like, the time of coronavirus, I had to stay on Zoom and talk to people because I couldn't get out. So I want to hear you complaining about walking in the snow. Do you hear me?
Back in my day, we had to two screens.
In my day.
Oh.
That's what it's going to be like. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, Spider-Man, I love you.
Mona,
yes,
you are amazing. I am so happy to. It has been such a pleasure to have you here tonight.
Absolutely. I'm waiting for you to get those characters into an act and tell me where you're performing so I can come watch you.
Absolutely, I will.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a spectacular woman. I love what you're doing with Puss and Dick. And just the iconic characters you've played over the years. And you are a phenomenal woman, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here.
It was totally my pleasure. I mean, bless you, I'm basically an actor. Who doesn't like to be out there and talking?
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I have to say again, Derek, I'm really glad I read a little bit about you. And I really like what you're doing here. I really
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
World. You too, Kat.
Thank you, Mona.
So it has been my joy. And now I'm looking down at my dog who's going, are we ever walking tonight, Mona?
Well, again, Mona, thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate you being here for my 100th episode.
I'm delighted.
Yes, it was such an honor. And I hope to have you on again.
Can I do one little quick plug?
Please go right ahead.
I just want to talk about this Saturday at 1:00 Pacific Standard Time. I will be signing autographs live. You can go on Streamily and pick out your either South Park character autograph sheet, or these are a lot of my anime characters. And I will be happy to sign them live. It's so much fun to do that.
I can't wait. I'm totally going to do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care, guys.
You too now. Bye-bye.
And congratulations. May you have another 100 and another 100 after that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye now.
Do I leave?
I'll go ahead and remove you, and then you're good to go.
Oh, no,
She's melting. She's melted.
Cat.
Oh man, my cheeks hurt.
I know, mine too.
I haven't smiled all week this hard.
Well, aren't you glad you were here with me for this?
Oh man, so glad. Also, I'm a little drunk.
Well, good. You should be.
I drank a whole bottle and a half of wine by myself.
There you go. Let me just say, I said it at the beginning of the show, and I'll say it again now. When the whole Cameron situation went down back in May, and I met you, you breathed a whole new side of, side of relief, into me, and you've helped develop, this show to where it's at right now. I built something that was very, very strong. And, now we do at least a show on Mondays together. But thank you for making Suck It, a success.
Bro, you made it a success. You've been here day.
What? Remember that joke that I told at the comedy show back in July?
Yes.
Behind every good man is a strong woman. I'll tell the joke now. Behind every strong man is a strong woman. And I'm lucky enough to have 3 strong women behind me. And, my wife, Christina, who's just amazing.
Right.
My best friend, Maddie, who pushes me every day. And then you.
Yeah.
And if you would only all 3 y'all let me get behind y'all, my life would be complete.
Right. Hey, quick question. Do you have male friends at all?
No, y'all 3 in my life.
I was just curious.
I mean, I have male acquaintances and male, fellow comedians and other people I've talked to, but like nobody like I have for you 3.
Do you hang out with them?
Nobody like I have for you 3.
Right.
No, you 3 are just amazing people. And again, if y'all would just let me get behind y'all, things would be so much better for everybody.
You can get behind one of us.
Damn it.
Not at a time.
Oh.
Sir.
Oh.
Anyway.
Thanks for breaking my heart.
No. But also not at all at the same time, actually. I'm realizing.
That'd be a greatest. My 40th birthday is next year. Can you imagine? That would be the greatest 40th birthday present ever.
Oh man, there are so many problems with this.
No problems. This is a great opportunity.
No.
My 40th birthday is next year. That is a one hell of a way to celebrate a new decade.
Well, you check Maddie and your wife about that. I'm not going to be here, so.
Yes, you will be. It's in April. You're not leaving until June or May.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
See, yeah, we're fine for April. We're good. I'm calling it now.
You manifest that shit out into the universe. You go right ahead.
I just did. I just manifested it out in the universe.
You're gonna have to call upon a couple miracles and maybe some saints. I don't know. You're enjoying this way too much.
I am.
Aw, my mommy stayed on for the whole thing. Thank you, mommy. Debren, that's my mom. Sorry.
Oh, wait a minute. So I've been making jokes for the last 5 minutes about having a foursome with you 3, and your mom is on. Oh my God.
I can't breathe. Oh boy. Ooh. Yeah, my mom's been here the whole time. I mean, it can't be any more awkward than the one time that she walked in on me and my boyfriend. So
Yeah, but
at least it wasn't that.
that's true.
Love you, Mom.
It's all my fault. I've tainted your daughter.
Oh no,
That was a long time ago. That
no,
was way
we
before me.
established, honey. She said you're sinking fast. Thanks.
See, this is how I've grown to 40,000 listeners per day.
Right? Oh God. Oh Lord, help us. If you guys are still here, Lord, God rest your soul. Because it's going to hell tonight.
You know, see, this is why people tune in to listen to me. They don't turn in to watch. They turn in to listen. They don't watch me for shit.
Right. But they listen hardcore.
Yeah. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to, hopefully in the next 100 episodes, things change. But,
right.
But how can I have 35 to 40,000 listens per episode on the show, on the podcast, but 25 maybe to 1,000? It's a very wide range on my YouTube channel. Why? Why can't people
put out more short clips? People are in TikTok world nowadays.
That's true.
And they can only stand an attention span of 1 minute at a time.
Yeah, every episode on the channel is 45 minutes or more.
Mm-hmm.
So and I attribute it to that, and that's why people listen on the show, because they have
to cut the end of this out right now, not right now when it's over. You have to cut the end of this out where my mother was watching, and put it somewhere. I don't care where, just somewhere, and that way people have to watch the whole thing just to get to the end. That's what you have to do.
Oh, you don't think I will? Hell yeah, I will.
Oh, you better. You better.
Oh, I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm not doing an episode tomorrow. I'm going to start Monday fresh with episode 101.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. And I'm going to do some work tomorrow just to chop it up and get some other stuff going on. So I got some other things in the works.
Good. I am putting out my first episode of season 2 on, I hope, on Monday with a gentleman named Jody Dean, who I had a very interesting conversation with today that totally blew my mind. So everybody should check that out also on Monday.
I don't have seasons.
We know you just go nonstop.
I just go nonstop all the time.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's fun.
Well, it's because you're doing what you love.
Yeah, and I'm already booking shows. The day, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, I've got 4 episodes that day, including ours. 2 of them.
On the 26th?
I'm doing 2 pre-recorded episodes, yeah.
4?
Yeah, I'm doing 2 pre-recorded and then 2 live. 1 with you and then 1 at night, the 8 o'clock show. But I'm doing 2 in between then to put out Tuesday and Wednesday.
Shit. You know what I just remembered? Mona said that she was from Missouri, and I wanted to know where.
Oh, you should have asked.
I know. I'm going to email her.
Well, she's got your email now. I'll email her your phone number too.
Yes, please don't forget to do that.
I'm
so excited. Do you know how cool of a mom I'm going to be, by the way, when she does this for my kids' class? Do you know?
Yeah, but they're not going to even know who.
I don't even care. I don't even care. I like her teacher, and I want her teacher to like me. Do you know?
My wife is a teacher. I need to get her to do something for my wife.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Come read for your wife's class. I'm sorry, I've had way too much to drink. I can't talk.
I sang her in by singing the Kyle's Mom's a Bitch song. How cool is that?
Are you so proud of yourself?
I really am. I've been planning that since last night. I'm like, babe, I'm going to sing her in with the Kyle. She goes, how many people do you think I've done that? I go, I don't know, but I'm doing it.
I don't know, but it's going to be me.
It's gonna be me. I'm going to do it.
Yes. I only know that part of the song.
I know the whole thing.
Of course you do. When did you first watch South Park? You said in high school? How old were you?
It was 96, so I would have been 15.
Why do you remember what year it was?
It was the first year it came out. I remember watching it when it first came out.
Oh. Yeah, I was literally not allowed to watch South Park. I was barely allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy. Have you seen Ren and Stimpy?
Hell yeah, that thing is graphic as hell.
I watched it when I was a kid. Like, I remember watching it when I was a kid. Now I'm an adult and I watched it and I was like, holy shit.
Go back and watch some of the other 90s cartoons from Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. I mean, and even watching SpongeBob now.
And
there's
Cartoon
so
Network,
much-
Johnny Bravo. Bro.
Can I just tell you how many people in my lifetime have called me Johnny Bravo?
Total sense. I can see that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
How
Do you know it's based off of Elvis?
Yes, I did know that. Come on. I mean, he always says, "How you doing, Mama?"
Right. See, you should take it as a compliment, not the insult that it is.
Oh, it's not an insult. I am complimented by being called Johnny Bravo.
That's good.
He's a
It's an
good-looking.
insult.
It's a good-looking guy right there. Hoo ha ha.
Sure. They're making fun of him because he was a sexist pig.
He was an amazing man.
Well, let me rephrase. Johnny Bravo was a sexist pig. I don't know anything about Elvis, honestly. I'm sure he was fine.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Never heard anything bad about the guy.
Yeah, but he was born and raised in a time where you wouldn't. So
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
We can ask him one day when we're in heaven together.
100.
Which I'm probably going to first, but
No, you're going to hell.
I'm going to hell. I'm
I'll
driving
meet
that
you there.
fucking
It's
bus.
fine.
I'm driving that fucking
No,
bus.
actually, rock and roll was deemed hell worthy. So he's in hell. So when we go to hell, we can ask him.
I'm taking over.
Huh?
I'm taking over.
Hell?
Yeah.
No, Lucifer's too hot.
I'm going for that guy.
I need Oh, you're gonna go for Lucifer?
I'm going. I'm him and I, one-on-one.
Oh, I just want to bang him.
Are we talking about Tom Ellis?
Yes. I saw a TikTok. I saw a TikTok that was made by a guy, okay? And he was like, so I was watching Lucifer, which by the way is an amazing show because it is, but I was looking up Tom Ellis, the actor, and seeing if he had any sons, because can you imagine having a son and trying to, or being Tom Ellis' son and bringing your girlfriend home and being like, I'm just going to invite you over to meet my dad. This is my dad. He's like, you're not getting any if you're bringing your girlfriend home to meet your dad. Have you seen this man? I'm straight. And I would go after him. I was like, it's so true. But luckily he has 3 daughters and no sons, so they're safe. But yeah, unless one of them is
his daughter's boyfriends aren't safe, I can tell you that much.
Right? They should look out for that.
Yeah. Tom, if you're listening.
He could turn them in a heartbeat.
Tom, if you're listening, you need to come on the show because it would be a great conversation.
Please, I need to talk to you about Lucifer and like religion and history, even though I know you're not the writer of the show. I get it. But you were the character, and I need to talk to you about how you got into character. Okay.
Let's see if I can hook that up. If I get him on the show, I'll have to bring you back.
Okay. I should drink more on the show.
You should. I did not drink tonight. I'm surprised. I didn't have a beer.
Good for you.
I've had 2 Mountain Dews. Does that count?
No.
Not a sponsor.
Also, I ordered for my aunt from Saga Meadery. Not a sponsor, but I'm going to plug them anyway because I love them. And I'm so excited to give it to my aunt. But I was supposed to get it today and I haven't gotten it, and I'm upset about it because otherwise I'd be drinking that right now. Because by the way, I ordered 2 cases and one is for me.
Your mom says you're not going to hell.
Sorry, Mom.
If she gives me
here for that conversation.
if she agrees to give me my birthday present next year, she's definitely going to hell.
Oh my God, stop it. Oh, Lord. Okay, I gotta go.
And that is why I am the King of Kings, the Prince
and the Queen of Kansas City.
All of that is awesome. Guys, thank you so much for being here for episode 100. Be back on Monday with Kat for Kat and Derek's Tales of the Supernormal at noon East, 9 West.
And I will be sober this time.
Yep. And then a brand new episode of Sucker Podcast, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. West, right here on YouTube, Facebook Live, Periscope, and Twitch, everywhere. And of course, everywhere podcasts are found, including Pandora, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, everywhere. Apple, podcasts, whatever. But either way, we love you guys. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity in this platform. And we will see you guys next week. But until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, stay fucking heavy. Love you guys.
Mwah!
Bye.
Bye.